Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thorne Forrester first saw the youngster on the cracked pavement outside the ancient textile mill in downtown Los Angeles, holding a paper cup of coffee in one hand and a cigarette in the other. The boy, who was 23 or 24 years old, had Thorne's jawline and the same stubborn set of shoulders that had once driven Ridge insane with envy. But the eyes were incorrect. They were hollow, the color of storm clouds that had forgotten how to pour. Thorne had gone to the mill on a hunch. A private investigator's report, paid for with cash he stole from Forrester Creations' petty expense account, had brought him here. The report was brief. A name, Jasper Cole, a birth date that matched the night Macy miscarried, a series of foster homes, and a sealed juvenile record. There's nothing else. Thorne had anticipated disappointment. He hadn't expected the youngster to look up at that precise moment, as if he'd felt the weight of being watched his entire life and had now discovered the source. Jasper's cigarette fell on the pavement. "You're him," he murmured, his voice flat, as if he had practiced the words in a mirror and found it lacking. The wealthy individual from the magazines. Thorne Forrester. Thorne's throat tightened. He had prepared 1,000 openings. "I think I'm your father, I never knew. I'm sorry," but the words sounded sour. Instead, he asked, "Can we talk?" Jasper laughed, making a sound like glass dragging across concrete.
Talk.
"Sure. I have a 10-minute break." They sat in a booth that was the color of dried blood. Jasper didn't place any orders. Thorne requested water and received a glass with a chip in the rim. The silence lasted until the waitress stopped refilling Thorne's glass out of pity. "I was born in '01, Jasper finally replied. "County hospital. There are no fathers listed. Mom overdosed when I was 3. Do you want the highlights reel or the director's cut?" Thorne's fingers discovered the scar on his left palm. Macy's ring had cut him the night she lost the baby, and he'd stormed out, wasted on grief and cheap whiskey. "I didn't know," he replied. "Macy informed me that it was gone. I believed her." Jasper's lips curled. "Yeah, turns out gone is a flexible word when you're 17 and terrified. She gave me up quietly."
Clean break.
"Except that breaks aren't clean when you're the one being broken." Thorne longed to reach across the table and grab the boy's wrist in the same way he had Macy's when she cried over fabric swatches. However, Jasper's arms were tightly folded, forming a fortress of flannel and ancient bruises. "I looked for you," Thorne said. "Maybe it wasn't hard enough, but I looked. I found me now." Jasper gazed out the window at a bus promoting Forrester's new summer line, Eric's designs with Ridge's face plastered on the side. "Funny timing. The company is doing nicely. The stock is up. You need an heir who isn't a walking public relations disaster." The accusation hit like a slap. Thorne felt the old wrath return. "I'm not Ridge, and I don't play those games," but he swallowed it. "I don't need anything," he replied. I saw your photo. The investigator sent it. You were standing outside a group home in San Bernardino. You have my mother's eyes." Jasper flinched. "Don't." "What?" "Do not do that."
Do not make it poetic.
"My eyes are brown. That is it. Genetics." Thorne bowed, chastened. The waitress tucked a check under his elbow. He paid without looking. Outside, the sky had turned the color of worn nickels. "I have a shift at 6, Jasper explained. "Night stock in the warehouse. You are welcome to walk with me. Or not. Up to you." They walked. The mill district smelled like iron and fried oil. Jasper's boots scraped the sidewalk in a pace that reminded Thorne of his own frantic pacing the night Macy said she was pregnant. "We're going to be a family," she'd promised, and he believed her until the blood on the bathroom tiles proved otherwise. Halfway to the warehouse, Jasper came to a halt under a flashing streetlight. "Do you know what I disliked the most?"
he asked.
Not the foster homes. Not the beatings, though those were terrible. It was the stories. Each social worker had one. "Your mother loved you, but she couldn't keep you. Your father is probably looking for you." Lies to keep children calm. "I stopped believing in fathers when I was 7. Thorne's chest hurt. I'm not asking you to believe in me. Because I don't. Jasper took a pack of smokes from his pocket and offered one. Thorne took it even though he had quit years before. The first drag burned as atonement. They smoked in silence until the warehouse appeared, a squat brick beast with loading docks yawning wide. Jasper flicked his buttocks into the gutter. I'm getting off at 2. If you're still around, there's a 24-hour burrito shop on 6th. If not, no hard feelings. He went inside without looking back. Thorne stood under the street lamp until the cigarette burned down to the filter, scorching his fingers. Then he drove to Malibu's beach house, which he had not seen since Macy's death. The keys still functioned. Inside, dust motes danced in the moonlight like tiny ghosts. He discovered the ultrasound shot in a drawer, Macy at 12 weeks, the blob that was meant to be their kid. On the back, in her looping handwriting, "For Thorne, when he's ready." He wasn't prepared then. He wasn't prepared now. At 2:17 a.m., he parked outside the warehouse. Jasper emerged in the same flannel shirt, his hair moist from a shower at the employee sink. He climbed into the passenger seat without speaking. The burrito shop smelled like cumin and bleach. They ordered carnitas and sat on the hood of Thorne's car in the parking lot, crinkling paper wrappers. I used to steal these, Jasper added with a bite. When I was 12. We lived in a group home off Figueroa. The cook had a cache in the freezer. I'd wait till lights out, crawl out the window, eat 3, then puke in the alley. Thorne's burrito remained untouched. I should have been there. You weren't. Jasper licked the salsa off his thumb. But you are here now. For weeks, they gathered late at night, ate cheap cuisine, and spoke about everything from the weather to their confessions. Jasper talked about his foster father, who confined him in a closet for wetting the bed, and the instructor, who gave him lunch money because his stomach screamed too loudly in class. Thorne described Macy's laugh, the way she hummed while sketching outfits, and how loss had hollowed him out, leaving just ambition and regret. One night, Jasper brought a duffel bag. I got evicted, he remarked. The landlord sold the building to some tech brothers. I can crash at the warehouse, but... He shrugged, knowing that asking was perilous. Thorne's beach property featured 4 bedrooms and an ocean view. Stay with me, he stated. As long as you need. Jasper moved in the next day. He chose the tiniest room, the one with the cracked window that overlooked the alley. He refused to touch the luxury sheets Thorne's housekeeper had folded on the bed. I'm not a charity case, he claimed, but he let Thorne purchase him a new pair of boots after the soles of his old ones broke. They settled into a rhythm. Thorne left for Forrester at 7 p.m., while Jasper stocked shelves until 3 p.m. and then rested on the couch while watching infomercials on TV. They cooked poorly in the evenings. Jasper burnt the spaghetti, while Thorne oversalted the sauce. They both laughed, startled by the sound. For the first time in years, Thorne looked forward to returning home. Then the envelope arrived. It arrived on Tuesday, with no return address and stamped San Bernardino. Inside, there's a solitary snapshot of Jasper age 16, with track marks on his arms and dead eyes. Ask your son about Riverside is written in block letters on the back. 2009. Thorne's hands shook as he slipped the photograph into his pocket. He convinced himself it was a mistake, a cruel prank. But doubt persisted, prickly and relentless. That night, Jasper discovered him on the terrace, staring at the black ocean. You're quiet, he murmured, sitting alongside him with 2 drinks. A bad day at the castle? Thorne pulled out the photograph. Jasper's face became still. Where did you get that? It doesn't matter. Is this true? Jasper accepted the beer, but did not drink. I was 15. The foster brother dealt meth. They said it would help me sleep. It did not. I became clean and juvie. That's the end of the narrative. You could have told me.
Didn't.
Jasper's voice was calm, but his knuckles were white around the bottle. Do you want me to leave?
No.
The word came too quickly. I need to know who I'm letting in. Jasper chuckled bitterly. Do you think a picture tells you that? Do you think clean piss means I'm fixed? He stood, the bottle breaking against the deck rail. I am not your redemption project, Thorne. I am a fuck-up who happens to have your DNA. He was gone before Thorne could stop him, duffel bag flung over his shoulder, boots thudding down the stairs to the beach. Thorne followed, barefoot on the sand, yelling his name until his voice broke. The tide wiped away their footprints side by side. Jasper did not come back. Thorne explored warehouses, shelters, and the cafe with the chipped glass. He found Jasper's former caseworker, a lady with worn eyes and a smoke-like voice. He's good at disappearing, she explained. Always was. If you push too hard, he'll vanish forever. Thorne stopped pushing. He left the beach home door unlocked, with a light on in the kitchen. He packed the refrigerator with carnitas burritos and cheap beer, which Jasper enjoyed. Weeks stretched into months. The room with the damaged window accumulated dust. One night in November, the doorbell rang at 3 a.m. Thorne stumbled downstairs to discover Jasper on the porch, wet with rain and thinner than before. His left eye had swelled shut.
I messed up, he said.
I owe certain guys money. I thought I could handle it, Thorne said, pulling him inside without saying anything. Under the kitchen light, the bruises were scarlet and fresh. Jasper's hands shook as he grasped the counter. I'm tired, he mumbled. I'm tired of running. Tired of being the kid no one wanted. Thorne dressed the cuts and prepared coffee that neither of them drank. When Jasper fell asleep on the couch, Thorne wrapped him in the shawl Macy had woven during her pregnancy, soft blue yarn, irregular stitching. He sat in his armchair till daybreak, watching his son breathe. They tried again. This time, the pace is slower. Jasper enrolled in community college to take art classes, as he had always drawn on napkins and warehouse boxes. Thorne attended open houses, proud and uneasy in his tailored suits, surrounded by folding chairs and juice boxes. Jasper's sketches were raw, violent charcoal slashes that made professors nervous, and Thorne's chest hurt with recognition. But the past has teeth. In January, police arrived. Grand Theft Auto, Jasper's old foster brother, now facing 20 years, had rolled on him for a bad deal in 2009. The evidence was limited and circumstantial, but adequate for a warrant. Jasper spent 3 nights in county jail before Thorne's lawyer got him released. I didn't do it, Jasper shouted on the courthouse steps, his voice strained from yelling at the walls. But they refused to trust me. They never do. Thorne trusted him. He also believed that the system did not care. The trial was a circus. Tabloids featured Jasper's photograph with Thorne's Forrester Ayres junkie past. Rich called, his voice oozing with anxiety, fooling no one. Are you sure about this kid, Thorne? We have a brand to preserve. Thorne hung up without responding. Jasper testified in a suit that was 2 sizes too big and borrowed from Thorne's wardrobe. He revealed the truth about the drugs, the desperation, and the night he held a gun but did not shoot. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Not guilty. Outside, snow flurried. Unusual for Los Angeles, a freak storm. Jasper lifted his head toward the sky, allowing flakes to melt on his tongue like a child. Thorne stared with a tight throat. I owe you, Jasper explained. You don't. I do. But I'm done taking. Jasper's smile was faint and genuine. I got accepted to CalArts. Scholarship. Thorne's eyes burned. Jasper, that's incredible. Strange, right? Me, college. He scuffed his boot on the courthouse steps. I'm relocating to the dorms. I need to do this on my own. Thorne nodded, suppressing his sadness. The room's here if you need it. I know. They hugged awkwardly, backslapping, and Jasper went away into the snow, duffel bag over his shoulder, lighter somehow. Spring arrived. Jasper's art display took place in a repurposed warehouse downtown, complete with string lights and inexpensive wine. Thorne arrived early, nervous like a teenager. Jasper's pieces dotted the walls, large canvases of damaged faces sewn together with thread and hope. Thorne was taken aback by one portrait, Macy, younger than he'd ever known her, with fierce eyes full of love. Beneath it, in Jasper's jagged script, for the mother I never met, from the son she never had. Thorne purchased it before anyone else could. Jasper discovered him later, clutching the artwork as if it may go. "You weren't supposed to see that yet," Jasper remarked, cheeks flushed. "It's hers," Thorne muttered. "It's us." Jasper's eyes shone. "I found her obituary online. Read it 100 times. Thorne's voice trembled as he said, "She was amazing. She'd be so proud of you." They stood in silence, surrounded by strangers applauding Jasper's work. Thorne felt the shape of forgiveness for the first time, not earned, not deserved, but freely given. Summer was hot. Jasper moved into the dorms and returned home on weekends with laundry and stories about professors using marijuana and roommates playing saxophone at 3 a.m. Thorne learned to text emoticons and burned pancakes on purpose, since Jasper preferred them crispy. Jasper got a little bluebird tattoo on his wrist in August, matching the color of Macy's Afghan. "For flight," he explained. "Not running." Thorne understood. "Just leaving when I'm ready." Thorne feared the call that came in September. CalArts has an obligatory drug test, random and routine. Jasper failed. Not heroin, not meth. Just marijuana is enough to break probation from previous crimes. The scholarship disappeared. A notice of eviction from the dormitory followed. Jasper arrived at the beach home with a rubbish bag full of clothes and looking defeated. "I'm sorry," he replied. "I thought one joint wouldn't." "It's okay," Thorne lied. It was not. The system possessed teeth, and it bit. They battled in a nasty way, yelling meaningless remarks. Jasper stormed out. Thorne drank till the ocean blurred. 3 days later, a knock came at 2 a.m. Not Jasper. Police. The body was found on the PCH, with the motorcycle wrapped around a guardrail. The driver's license read Jasper Cole, but the face was unidentifiable. Thorne recognized him anyhow. The bluebird tattoo remained intact, and the wings expanded mid-flight. The funeral was small. Eric arrived, serious in black. Ridge brought flowers, namely white lilies, Macy's favorite. Jasper's art professor discussed potential cut short. Thorne said nothing. He stood at the casket, clutching the portrait of Macy that Jasper had painted with love he'd never known how to express. Then he drove to the beach house and sat on the deck till sunrise. The Afghan now smelled like Jasper, smokes and turpentine. Thorne threw it about his shoulders and grieved like he hadn't since Macy's death. Great, racking sobs that ripped something loose inside him. Jasper discovered a letter pinned under his desk. Jasper wrote Thorne's name in unsteady handwriting from the night before. "If you're reading this, I screwed up again. I apologize. I wanted to get better. For you. For her. Tell Mom I tried flying." A sketch was found beneath the letter, depicting Thorne and Jasper on the deck, heads bowed together over cooked pancakes and giggling. In the margin, "This was real." Thorne hung the sketch alongside Macy's photograph. He left the cracked window unrepaired. Some breaks don't require repair. Years later, visitors to Forrester Creations noticed a new piece in the executive lobby, a gigantic canvas of fractured faces sewn with blue thread called Family, Unfinished. Nobody knew that the artist had died at the age of 24. Nobody knew why the man who had commissioned it grieved every time he passed it. Thorne never got remarried. He mentored kids from the system, offering art scholarships in Jasper's name with no doubts about their backgrounds. He kept the Afghan on his chair and the bluebird sketch over his desk. Some evenings, he drove to the PCH curve with a scarred guardrail, leaving a carnitas burrito and a cheap drink on the shoulder. The tide always snatched the wrappers in the morning. He never found another son. He did not look. Some losses leave a void that can't be filled. But on quiet evenings, when the light hit the canvas just right, Thorne swears he saw Jasper in the threads, wings extended and free.